We will start like learning Python in this course, so it's called like Introduction to Python. And for course materials, there is a website. So I built a website which you can utilize. Here is the link. I will just copy and paste it to the. Sorry, I'll just copy and paste it to the Discord channel. So basically, there is a website and all materials. So we will like go through each topic which is like emphasized here slowly, and you can like take a look on the website. I put it like to the general chat. I hope that everyone has access to it. So please let me know if you have any problems with like opening it. And yeah, basically I made it for your convenience, so you will be able to open everything and like work on it. And the interesting part that I want like to highlight, that this website, this like book that I made was like fully done with Python. So it's like one of the examples where you can like utilize Python. Let's start with installing Python on a Windows system. So in this case, for example, you can like go to the google.com and then like just Python download. Just put like Python download, open the first page, and then usually it automatically can recognize the operating system. In my case, it's like Windows. So this is like just for Windows. For Linux, I will show you a little bit later how it looks like. So let's download Python. So we should wait a little bit while it's like installing. Now I can open the folder.
Yeah, so it's only for Windows, right?
Yeah, this is for Windows, and yeah, after that I will show you how to do it for the Linux. So let's just open this program that we installed, and the important part, so it's like to toggle on the add Python executed file to the path, and let's just install it now.
While we are waiting, could I ask a question about Mac OS? Yeah, I remember that I was using this Jupyter notebook, yeah, which opened as a tab in my browser, but there was some command that I had to type in the terminal, yeah, just to launch it. And
so in case if you have Jupyter notebook, you can type something like that, I believe. Jupyter notebook. Also, it depends. So if you have like Jupyter Lab, so let me just show you.
Yeah.
So for example, so if you have like Jupyter Lab, you can utilize just Jupyter Lab and launch it. So you can like run it, and then it's gonna give you the address, or even like open it.
Yeah, it will open it in the browser, yeah?
Yeah. So
and is it enough? Like, don't we need to download anything else if it works?
It's enough. So yeah, you can use like Jupyter Notebook. If you already used it, you can like utilize Jupyter Notebook. If you're like familiar with the way of running some statements there, it's totally fine. I mean, like, I'm just showing like as a kind of the most plain way, the most like basic one. So yeah, and in my case, I successfully installed the Python. Now I can like close it. And now, for example, in any place where I am, for example, right now I'm like inside of the folder of downloads, I can open the Windows terminal here. To do it, I just put it like CMD inside of the search bar. So CMD, it should like open me the Windows terminal. And now I should like be able to have the access to the Python program. A little bit later, I will explain what does it mean, like a Python program, what is the purpose of it, and you should be able like to execute the following command. So Python -- version. It should like give you some output. In my case, it's showing that I installed Python of version 3.12, and in your case, it should like also highlight something similar. And it means that we successfully installed like Python, and now we have like access to it from the any folder on our PC while we are using the terminal, Windows terminal. Yeah, while we are waiting, I'll like tell a little bit about, in general, about Python, how I see it. Yeah, Ron, when it's installed, just like let me know, and we'll just check that everything works fine. Yeah, so this is about course materials, and in general, so how I see this like idea behind Python. And in my case, I think about it as a trip. For example, let's assume that you decided to go to some like foreign country, for example, to Spain, and you can like go there, but in case if you don't know like the language, right, you will not be able to communicate with locals just by yourself. And in this case, you need like some help. And in this case, for example, as a help, there could be like your phone or like something which can like interpret or translate from one language to another. And in this case, we have that we are like, for example, speaking English, we went like to Spain, and we can utilize this interpreter to communicate with locals in the Spain. And in my mind, Python plays the same role, but in this case, we will like specify some statements in English. We will like use English words to specify some statements, and then Python, which is like an interpreter, this is like a reinstalled program which gonna interpret and translate everything what we are like saying to the computer, and it's gonna like then allow us to communicate with computer. We will be able to ask computer to perform different actions. Because for example, right now I can like I don't know, like I can try to say something like verbally to my computer to do something, and if I don't have like some AI assistance, it's not gonna understand me, right? And because of that, we need like to learn some specific language which called Python, and we will use like English words inside of this language, and then we will be able to communicate with computer and explain what we want to do. This is a basic idea, and we installed this interpreter on our computer. Let's switch now for the to the Linux system. In the Linux system, so I will cover it for the Ubuntu system, and basically the idea is that usually it's like already installed. You can like try to execute the same thing. So this is a Linux system. I have like a virtual machine inside of my Windows system, and this is a Ubuntu. You can see that it's like saying that Ubuntu, and usually by default it's installed. If you have Ubuntu, you can just like right away check that you have Python. In my case, the Python is like version 3.10, and everything which starts from 10 should be fine for us. In case if you have like not the correct version, so if you see that the Python is like 3, not 3, but starts like from 2, in this case you need like to install the Python 3, and to achieve it there is a like a instruction how to do it. You need like just to update links to all possible softwares that you can install. You need like to update them to the latest one, and then you need like to install Python 3 by running the command sudo apt install Python 3. And after that also I suggest you to install the command which is like Python is Python 3. This allows you to execute Python just by typing Python, but not Python 3, which can be a case sometimes. And you can check that your Python is now of version 3, and this is fine. And this is what we need. So guys, does anyone have like a Linux system? Okay, so probably most of you using the Windows system. Okay, so let's then go back, and today we will just like I will be just like talking mostly. We will not like program a lot. At some moment we will start like just writing some first programs, but in general I want like to tell you about what is a way how I like think about the programming. And in general the idea is that we have like our real life, and we want like to somehow model it, to specify some specific features and explain it to computer and then perform different actions. And you are, as a students of the system biology, you already saw like different ways of the analyzing the data, and some of them really like involve the programming in Python. For example, you can think about the complex system such as a immune system or something like that, and then the idea is that we want like to resolve some tasks which are like very hard to resolve manually by simply I don't know, like calculating it on a paper. It's gonna be like really impossible to perform it, and because of that we need like to somehow model our systems, put them into the computer, and then like operate with the things in our computer. And I want like just to show you some examples where the programming in general, not just like programming on Python, but in general programming helped people to achieve different things. And the first example is like a first image of the black hole. Right now you can see that this is the first black hole image that was obtained by humans, and it was like a huge step in the science. And you can like look on it, and in your mind you can think that this is strange, this is like a very fuzzy image, you cannot see anything, but the data, like amount of data required to obtain this image was like insane. And just like to give you the idea how large was the data that people obtained just like to get the picture of the black hole, let's take on the example. So this is a just like a representation. So one single dot here is the size of the Interstellar movie. I hope that you heard about Interstellar movie. It's like a movie about traveling in the space. And the idea is that the one single dot here represents like 100 gigabytes. I just like checked it on a root tracker that the best quality that you can download from there is like 100 gigabytes. I didn't download it, but just like saying that the size of the movie is like 100 gigabytes. And here you can see that the amount of the data that people like obtained to get the black hole image is like 50,000 times more. So it's like a really gigantic amount of data required to obtain this image, and it's not possible to analyze this data just manually, and this is really required like programming skills to explain to the computer what is the images of the space, how to handle them. And it's really like amazing in my mind how the people like working with the huge amount of data, finding some new discoveries in it. And this was like example from the point of view of astronomy, right? But also we can like think about it in terms of the biological system. And this is an example of the multiplexed imaging system. So basically this is a tonsil, if I remember correctly, and each individual color here represents some specific protein. And you can visualize the image of the tissue. So basically, usually it's like this is usually 1 by 1 centimeters cut, like a thin slice of the tissue. And then you can like visualize different proteins and how they are distributed across the tissue. And what is like important for us, that the raw data to obtain this image usually can like really hit 1 terabyte easily, which is like also a lot of amount of data. And then if you need, for example, to analyze what kind of the spatial relationships between the cells are happening on the tissue, because proteins specific for different cell types, you can identify cell types on the image and then try to understand what is happening in terms of interactions between different cells over the tissue. And also it's not possible just like to analyze it visually. Usually you need like to program it to explain to the computer what is a single cell on this image is, how to handle it, how to operate it. And as a summary, the main idea that I have in my mind that usually the workflow of the programming is the following one. So we have like some input data, and it can be like anything. For example, you can work like with data tables. It could be like some Google spreadsheets or something like that. You can work with images, music, videos. And in my mind, so one of the interesting way of how to work with learning, how to learn Python in general, it's like try to find, for example, as you said that you have like a lot of different hobbies, and try to somehow like apply Python for your hobby. In case, for example, if you're like doing photography, there are like a lot of things which are like involved in the process of the getting the file, like a nice image in the end. Usually like our camera sensors like getting some raw data, and then they're like involved a huge lot of different processing steps to get a final nice picture. And this is like about the input data, and then the next part is like that we actually write some Python program. It's gonna be like some statements that take this input data and perform some operations on it. This part can be arbitrary. Sometimes even you don't need like input data, you just need like a Python program, and in the end the outcome is like some output data. It can be also like a data table, image, music, video. And for example, in case that I showed you of this like tonsil image, we have like an image as the input data, and then we can like, for example, produce some data tables with explaining that there is a cell, and features gonna be that we measured average protein expression for this cell. And this is about the Python flow. And now let's just try to write our first program in a Python. So guys, are you still here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's write our first program. And I will utilize Ubuntu, like a Linux system mostly, but I will try to make it clear and transparent for everyone what is happening. So let's create a folder. I will call it like a programming course, and week 001. I want to go to this folder. I will also open it in the file explorer, just like to make it more clean what is happening. And now let's create our first file. I'll call it like hello.py. So, and this is important. This is an extension of the file that we gonna use. It's .py, which means like Python, and this is gonna create a file inside of the folder. So I created a file. It's called like hello.py. And now also I recommend you to install the Visual Studio Code. This is a editor, which in my mind like very nice. You can like utilize it to write the Python scripts. So you can Google it, and it's called like Visual Studio Code. Yeah, and you can install it for Windows, for Linux, for any system, and it's gonna like help us to write Python specific programs on our computers. So now I can just like open it. For example, in case of if you like already installed it, then you can like run this program inside of any folder. In this case, I'll just like put code dot, and it's gonna like open me the Visual Studio Code inside of this folder. So this is a interface of the program. Usually it asks you like about, do you trust to the authors who wrote or who like made this folder? In my case, I made it myself, so I trust myself a little bit. And this is a tab with all files inside of the folder that I opened. There is a file which is called like hello.py. And also I'll like just, I'll do it like one more time. In case you're like using the Windows system. So in Windows system, you can like in File Explorer, right click on any folder, and there is gonna be, so in my case, it's like Windows 11 and the graphical interface kind of a little bit strange. You need like to click on show more options, and then there is a kind of option open with code, and yeah, it's gonna like ask me something again, and in the same way I opened it on a Windows system. I just showed you how to open it on a Windows system, but in my case I will be mostly working as in my virtual machine of the Linux system. And now let's write something like some program here. So, and as I said, we're gonna like create text file. We need like to specify some statements which Python can understand, and then we can like utilize the interpreter that we installed. We can say like, please handle this file, perform something. And Python is like, okay, let's take a look on the file. If everything is fine inside of the file, I mean like in terms of the syntax, then it's gonna like give us some outcome. So, and the first thing that we will do, we will like write a print. So print is a function inside of Python, and then inside of the brackets we can put some string. So string is like basically some text. We can like specify some text, and to specify the text in Python we need like to enclose it by the quotes. You can use like single quotes or double quotes, it doesn't matter. Like really at some moment I will like show you what are the differences between single quotes and double quotes, but this is an example. And let's write the very common example of the first program in any language. It's like a hello world program. So, and here I put it like inside of the print function, the statement, the string, which is like hello world. And now I want like to execute this file. So this is our file. And now I want like to utilize the Python interpreter to try to interpret the file. And in this case, I will open the terminal inside of the Visual Studio Code. So I did it by pressing the Ctrl plus tilde. So tilde is like this like a wave symbol under the escape button. And now I can run Python and specify the name of the file. Okay, so and the name of my file is hello.py. And now I can press it and you can see that I got to the standard output the result of the program. So we got the hello world as a result of the program that we utilized. So guys, so far so good?
Oh, okay. Can I ask a question about this Mac OS?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of can make this, print command in Jupyter Notebook.
Yep.
Yeah. But as far as I understand, first I need to create this directory, yeah, where I put my Python file, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And in order to create it, yeah, I do I open terminal, right?
You can open the terminal, or you can like just utilize the file explorer. I mean, like you have the file explorer in the Mac system as well. You can just like, create a folder, but then at some moment inside of the terminal, because usually, for example, as I do, I run the Jupyter notebook inside of the folder. So in case of
inside a folder.
In my case, yeah, usually I do it in this way. So for example, right now we are still like in the same folder. It's like a week 001, and then I can like create a instance of Jupyter Lab inside of this folder. You can just like run Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And just one moment. Could I also create such a folder on my computer, like programming course week 1? Yeah.
Yeah, you can create. You can call it in some other way. It's not required to be like exactly the same. You can call it in any way as you like.
Whatever, yeah, and
and then like inside of the folder, when you like inside of the terminal, you need like just to run Jupyter Lab. It's gonna open the instance of Jupyter Lab. Yeah, so and then for example,
it will open a tab. Yeah, it will open a tab, and okay, I have printed this, short program, hello world. Yeah. And how do I save it into a special folder?
So for example, right now, so right now I'm inside of the folder. So you can see that I executed the Jupyter Lab inside of the week 001 folder. And again, I see the hello Py that we created before. Now I can create a Jupyter notebook, because in Jupyter usually it's like notebooks. We can create a Jupyter notebook, write the same statement here. So it's like a print hello world. And then, for example, you can execute it. So now you already created a file, but it doesn't have any name. You can rename it by like just right-click, rename, or F2 in my case, and call it in any way. So, for example, intro.ipynb, and it's gonna be in the same folder now. So we can open this folder, and there is a intro ipynb, and also like some extra folder for Jupyter Notebook that it like creates automatically.
Okay.
So does it work?
Well, yeah, I have this, program. Yeah, then I do file. Yeah, save notebook as. Yeah. But I can't understand how to put it in this folder that I want. want it to be.
Can you show it to us? Can you share the screen?
Yes. Just a second. Mhm. Okay. Entire screen. Yeah. Now can it be seen? No.
No. Yes.
Like this? No.
So you
Yeah?
need like to press share your screen and then specify application, or you can like share the whole screen. And
yeah, I'm sharing it. Yeah, so like allow Discord to see your screen.
yeah.
Like entire screen. Allow. Yes, and then share your screen again. Discord allow. I don't know. It always asks me allow Discord to see your screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do allow it.
Do you use like a app or browser version?
Browser.
Maybe because of that, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, probably it's the problem. Yeah, because
But
it asks me the same question.
Yeah, basically, so when I press here, for example, let me share again my screen. So when I press, for example, when I launched the Jupyter Lab here, it launches the instance inside of the current working directory. So and because of that, I have the file structure here. And when I create a new notebook, it by default put it inside of this current working directory. So you can you can, for example, open it. I don't remember like what is the command in the Mac. Probably it's like view or something like that to launch the file explorer. In my case, or you can like just list all the files, and you can see. So in my case, I have a new notebook. Then you can just like name it, and it's gonna be in the same folder where you launched the Jupyter Lab inside of the terminal.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to do it somehow. Yeah. Is this like if I create some folder using terminal? Is it like make mkdir? Yeah.
Yeah. Inside of the terminal, it's like mkdir. Yeah.
Minus p.
Minus p is like if you want like to recursively create nested folders. If you want like to create just one folder, you can like mkdir and specify the name of the folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, I don't. And where will this folder be?
So it depends. I mean, like for example, yeah. So I will close my Jupyter notebook. So for example, you can like make the same thing that I'm doing right now. So you can check where are you right now. So it's like pwd, it's like a current directory. And so in my case, it's like this folder. And then in your case, you can like go, for example, you can go to the home directory on your Mac OS, and it's gonna be something, I don't know. So you can like go, then like ls, check what is there. And usually you have like, for example, documents or something like that, like different folders. And you can go there.
Yes. Okay, thanks. Yeah, well, I'm doing this pathway to directory, yeah, but it does not, I don't know, for some reason doesn't show anything.
Yeah, also you can, you should be able to, if I remember correctly, so the file explorer called like a finder, right?
Yes,
So there should be an option when you like right click, I believe there should be like, when you right click inside of the folder, there should be like open in terminal, the same as in the Windows. When you just like inside of the finder, and then do you have it?
Yes. Yes, I can go to some folders.
Yeah.
From this finder. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you press like right click, do you have like an option to open it in terminal?
Open in terminal. Okay. Okay. Well, probably not.
Okay,
Yeah,
what?
but like, okay, PWD works. Yeah, it shows me my current directory.
Yeah. Try to
Yes,
so okay
and
try to call like ls on the home directory. So what you see when you write like ls and tilde symbol?
okay. LS and tilde. Okay, command not found.
What, sorry?
LS and tilde. Like command not found.
ls
LS
ls.
and tilde.
Yeah, it should be it's always like it's default command, so ls should work.
LS works.
Yeah,
Yeah, LS shows
so in the same way as
me.
I'm showing like on my like in my terminal, so the same command. So when you execute it, what is the folder that you see?
Yeah, I see a list of folders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have, for example,
Yeah.
documents folder there?
Yes.
So
there's
yeah, now you
documents
can, for
now.
example, go cd in the same way as I do, and then like put documents in the way that you have it like on your like in your terminal. You can open it, and it's gonna be the same documents folder, which you can open in the Finder. In the Finder, on the left tab, you usually have like a kind of quick access, and there is a documents, and you can like open the same folder inside of the Finder. And then when you create a folder inside of the documents, for example, when you run mkdir inside of the documents, it's gonna be synchronized. You will see that you have the same folder both in the terminal and also in the Finder.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So I won't keep your time more.
No
Yeah,
worries, no
I'll
worries. Welcome, guys.
figure
We
it
are not
out.
like
Yeah.
we are not in the rush, so
Yeah.
we should all be on the same like page. So that's totally fine.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone has like different systems, and if
Yeah,
someone have
this is
Windows
a
too,
this is a
it's-
I mean like, just general thing.
Okay. But thanks a lot for these clarifications. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's switch to the variables and data types. And as I said, we will like just try to somehow model different things from the real world inside of the Python. And for example, the task is like to extract some features from the objects. We cannot like we cannot describe the whole object with all the things, with all the features that it has. I mean, like it's a philosophical problem. There are like a lot of kind of thoughts about it. Can we like like describe the object fully or not? In our case, we just need like to highlight some specific features and then utilize them. For example, when you like explaining like differential expression or like just expression of genes, probably you are not like interested in, I don't know, like they're like you are not interested in the something which is like happening beside the cell. Probably maybe you're like interested but not you're like interested just like in the expression levels of the genes, and this is what we want like to extract. And the real object is a cell, but we want like to extract just information about gene expression, for example. And here I just showed you the example. So if we have a car, we can, for example, be focused on the different features, and the feature is like color. We can like explain what is the color of the car, and it could be like important, for example, in case if you're like building a website and you want like to have the site for selling cars, and usually people like interested in the color of the car when they are buying the car. And in this case we can like say that there is a color, and to specify it we need like some specific data type inside of the Python, and there are some default data types which help us to explain it or like to fetch this information. Also, you can be interested in the is it like a self-driving car or not. In this case we can see that there is a driver, so probably this car is not self-driving, and this is a specific data type which we're gonna like learn. It's a logical data type. If we want like to handle some logic in our programs, it's gonna be logical data type. Also, usually we are like interested in some numbers, and in this case we can like think about how many people can be inside of the car during the ride. And in this case, let's assume that we have 5 seats. And let's start with the different data types which are like built in inside of the Python, which we can utilize in our programs. And the first data type is numbers. And here is a way how to specify numbers inside of our programs. It's like we will use print function for now always to right away show the result of the program. And let's just change our hello.py, and instead of the hello world, let's put some number. So I don't know, for example, 42. I want like to print 42. And now we can like run the program, and you can see so that Python knows how to handle numbers by default. Also, we can like put statements one after one. You can try to check what is the type of the object. And this is a function which is called type. And let's just check how this data type called inside of the Python. And you can see that the number, if it doesn't have like a decimal point, it's an integer. But in case if you wanna specify some decimal number, like a float number, you can put it like 3 point and then like specify the decimal part of it. And then again, let's type the type of this number, and you can see so there are like different data types for numbers. The one is like integer, if you're like working with the integer without any like floating part, and also we have floats. And the natural thing that we can do is like to perform some arithmetical operations over the numbers. For example, if you want like to sum up two numbers, you can subtract some numbers, for example 10 minus 5. You can multiply numbers, it's gonna be for example 2 times 4. We can divide numbers, and in Python there are like two type of divisions. So for example, I want like to divide 4 by 3. Let's say like I want to divide 4 by 3. Also I want to divide 4 by 3 in this way. And basically the difference is this is gonna give us the float number as a result, but this is an integer division, so the result of this operation is gonna be integer. So let's just execute it, and I'll probably I will hide from the interpreter this part, and to do it you need like to comment this section. Comment, it's like some statement which is not gonna be interpreted by the Python. It's more like as a some documentation for the programmer who is reading the program. And to do it, I press like Ctrl plus slash, and it's gonna command the whole thing. And now you can see that we don't have in the output 42 class int, we don't have it because we commented this part. And the first result is like 2 because we performed the summation of the 1 plus 1. Then there is a subtraction, it's 5, multiplication, it's 8. And then here we have the division. And you can see, so the first division gave us like 1.33333. And the last one gave us just 1 because this is a integer division. Also, what kind of operations we can perform? We can like we can like raise one number in power of another one. So for example, 2 in power of, let's say 10, and let's execute it one more time, and it's gonna be 1024. We can get the modulo, like the remainder after the division. In this case, for example, let's try something like 6 modulo 5, and it's gonna be 1 because it's like just from mathematical point of view how it works. And if you don't know something about from this like math, you can just like ask what is the idea, how it works. Guys, do you all know this kind of modulo operation? Because sometimes it's very kind of convenient to use it. For example, when you handle some iterations, some loops, you can use like modulo operation to be always in the fixed range, not like to go outside of the array or something like that. So, and this is, I believe, what kind of also there are like. Yeah, and also there is just like common rules about if you have like several operations, there is like a order of the execution them, and it's like a regular, like as in the math. So if you have like something inside of the bracket is going to be executed first, then the multiplication, and yeah, this is like basically about the different type of operations. Yeah, and this is like a small note that usually it works like as you expect, but let's try to sum up 3 float numbers. I will remove this part and just like put just put this one comment. And so we know like from the mathematical point of view that the result should be 0.9, right? And let's execute it, and you can see so that the result is not like exactly 0.9, and it's because of the how the arithmetics for float numbers works. There is always like some error, not a huge one, but there is some like error. And why it's like important sometimes, for example, if you need like to check that 2 float numbers are equal, you usually don't exactly like check that they are like equal. You usually have some relative differences. You can like specify some small shift. For example, you can say that if 2 numbers like if the absolute difference between 2 numbers is like less than 0.0001, then they're like the same. And this is like just as a note to keep in mind when you're like working with the float numbers in Python. So also, as I showed you, there are like strings. We already saw the first example about the hello world. And in Python, we have like different ways how to specify strings. And the first one is like to encapsulate the string, the text that we want like to execute inside of the double quotes. Also, you can use single quotes. And also, if you have like a multiple line string, you can use triple double quotes or triple single quotes. Let's just like copy and paste it to our program, and let's execute it. So when you can see, so we have line, another line, and all these like operations works perfectly. And this is how you can specify some text type features of the objects later on in the course. Yeah, also inside, for example, let's copy this example and let's take a look. So sometimes you need like to put double quote at the character inside of the string. And in case if you have like a single quote, you can like easily put it inside of the double quote. Like if your string is encapsulated by double quotes, you can easily use single quote. But in this case, for example, if we have like a string which we started from single quotes, we cannot right away put just single quote, because in this case, Python will think that this is a line. So for example, let me remove this part. So I just want to like execute the program, everything works fine. But if I put it as a single quote without this like special character before the quote, it's not gonna work, because Python thinks that this is a character, and then something strange is happening here. And if I try to run it, we will face the syntax error, because Python cannot handle this line properly. And to say that this is a character inside of the line, we need like to put the like a slash before the symbol. And then so it works fine. Yeah, this was an example. Yeah, also like double quotes inside of single quotes works fine. And if you have like a string which starts from double quotes, to use double quote inside of the string, you need to also kind of use the backslash before the symbol. Yeah. So there are like some operations that we can perform on strings. We can concatenate strings, like to get a larger string. Also, we can repeat the string some amount of time. For example, if you want like to repeat string 3 times, you can use the multiplication operator. Let's just take a look on all these examples very fast. So you can see if you want like to put two strings next to each other, you can just like don't put anything, just like strings, and then Python gonna merge them into one line. Also, you can use the plus symbol to concatenate two strings. Yeah, and also if you want like to repeat something, for example, you need like to repeat a 100 times. You can use multiplication operator, and it's gonna give us a long line which contain a lot of a's. Yeah, now I want like to talk about logical data type, and in my mind, when I like thinking about logical data type, I always like remember like, or in my mind there is like appearing this scene from the Matrix movie. You know, like at some moment the Morpheus is like giving two pills to the Neo, and you need like to decide. And for example, if I want like to describe something similar in Python, I need like a specific data type which gonna say like, for example, did I choose the red pill? And yeah, I need like to somehow explain it. And there is a data type which is called bool inside of the Python, and basically it has two objects like true and false. And this is an examples of the logical operators and the arithmetics on them. So it's like very natural. Let's print and paste it. And let's start from the end. So the case, so here it's a AND operator, and as you can see, we put it like two objects next to each other, so it's like a true and true, and the result is gonna be true, right? Just like from the logical perspective. So for example, if you want like to select a movie which is like horror and also has a score on IMDb greater than 8, you want like to meet two criteria, right? You want like to have like the movie horror, and also the movie should be like a high rated. And in this way, all other movies, so for example, if the movie is like comedy but score is high, you are not like interested in it, right? And if you want like to specify it inside of the Python, you can utilize this operation. So true, and then put also logical object. And if we execute it, you can see, so for example, that in first case we got the as a result like true, because in this case we can like think about it as a, we want like to filter something from the whole list. And let's say that the movie was horror, but the score was like low. No, we are not interested in this movie. The movie was comedy, but score was high. We are not interested in this movie. Because of that, it's false. And if movie was not a horror, for example, it was comedy and score was low, we are not interested in it. And we just like interested if it's like both criteria are met. And this is the idea. Yeah. Also, you can utilize the OR operator, and in this case it's not so strict as it was with the AND. For example, we can execute it, and you can see we have like much more true as a result. And in this case, we just like saying, for example, I want like watch a movie which is like high rated, or I want to watch a horror movie. And in this case, so for example, if both criteria are met, you can like watch the movie. If the movie horror but score is low, you can also watch it. If the movie is comedy but score is high, you can also watch it. And so this is the idea behind the OR operator. And also there is a logical not, which gonna just like revert the object itself. So not true is false, not false it's true. It's very, very easy. Yeah, so this is about the AND, OR, and NOT, and basically about true and false. Yeah, and so basically these things you will use very often. For example, in case you need like to filter out something, let's assume that you have like the matrix with gene expression, right? And you want like to filter out just those genes which have like a, on average, high expression. And you can like make a filter on it. You are like going row by row. For example, if each row is a gene, you can measure the average expression of the gene. And if the average expression larger than some threshold, you will say, this is an important gene, I want to keep it. And it's gonna be true. And for all other genes which have like a relatively small average expression, you will filter them out. And this is the idea behind it. Also, we can utilize comparison operators, and as a result of comparison operators, we will get a Boolean data type. And we can, for example, compare numbers by using the equal operator, no equal, greater than, less than, greater than, or equal to, less than, or equal to. And this is just examples that we can utilize these operators with the numbers and also with the strings. Let's just run it. And in my case, I have like some fancy font. Because of that, it's not showing that they're like double equal sign. But in your case, it's going to be really double equal sign if you copy and paste it from the website. So let's run it, and you can see so that the 1 is not equal to 0, we got false. 1 is not equal to 0, it's true. Then 1 is greater than 0, it's true. 1 is less or equal to 0, it's false. And then we can like compare also strings. So hello and hello are the same, and alpha is less or equal than beta, it's true. And when we compare strings, we use the lexicographical order. The same as in the dictionaries. When you work with the dictionary, you can like find the word by the order in the dictionary. So I'll stop on this moment today. Next time we will like continue working with some basic data types, and I want like just to say a couple words about the homework. That during the course we will have like homeworks, and my idea to focus mostly on some tasks from the linear algebra. You can be like upset about it, that you are like, whoa, why linear algebra? We are like system biologists. But the idea why I'm like thinking in this way. So in case, for example, if you open anything, for example, there are like a lot of things that you already saw, which is called like PCA, right? PCA decomposition. And you used it, I think that you used it when you had like an introductory course to the biology, this like system biology. And if you open the principal component analysis, you will see that if we try to look on the Wikipedia, so you see that there are like vectors, and vectors basically it's like elements of the linear algebra. And you can even try to put linear algebra, and you will find that there is like a match inside of the principal component analysis. And it's like very important in any type of the data analysis that you're gonna do. It's always the basement of it. It's like a linear algebra, vector, some operation on it. And as an example, for example, you can think about the how you can work with the text, right? You want like to check are like two words are similar to each other, and there is a thing which is called like word to vec. It's a technique that help you to convert like a text into the some linear space, and then you can handle it. And because of that, so we will focus mostly on the linear algebra. I will try to also like show you some examples of each operations that we're gonna like implement from the scratch. And in this course, we will not use like any this like fancy packages that already can perform this operation. For example, we are not gonna use NumPy, SciPy, all these like things. We will try to perform some this like naive implementations on our own. They're not gonna be perfect for sure, but I hope that they will give you some like understanding about what is happening on the background when you perform single cell analysis or like analysis of bulk RNA-seq data. And this is the idea of this course. And the final score will be kind of related on how many tasks you resolved during the course. I will like lately put the more precise kind of table with the requirements to pass the course. So that's it for today, guys. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask them.
Yeah. Have you got any assignment for the next class?
For now, no. So after the next lesson, I will share with you the first homework. today we just like mostly was talking, and yeah, so the idea is like to install the Python on your computers before the next lecture, to be familiar with like executing some simple scripts. We will take a look on some examples next time, and yeah, so slowly we will increase our pace little by little.
Great. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay guys, thank you. And in case if you had some problems, or like if you're like trying to install and something doesn't work, so let me know. I will definitely help you to handle any problems that you have.
Yeah. Thank you for being helpful.
Yeah,
This was
welcome
good.
guys, welcome.